You find out on a Wednesday. Not dramatically, there is no ceremony. Your manager sends a calendar invite the night before titled Quick Chat, tomorrow 10 a.m. And you spend the evening running through the possibilities the way people do when they know something is coming but cannot confirm which direction it arrives from. By 10:04 a.m. on Wednesday, you know the number. By 10:07 a.m., you are back at your desk. $148,000. That is what you will earn starting the first of next month. You are earning $74,000. The number has doubled. Not incrementally, not over years, not through a series of modest adjustments. In one conversation, in one Wednesday morning, the number that defines your professional value to the organization has become twice what it was yesterday. You sit at your desk and you feel, and this is the part nobody warns you about, almost nothing. Not nothing exactly. A quiet hum, a sense of unreality that is closer to vertigo than joy. You expected elation. What arrives is closer to the specific feeling of standing in a room where the furniture has been rearranged while you were asleep. Everything is the same. The proportions are different. This feeling will pass. What replaces it is more interesting and considerably more complicated. What happens in the first 72 hours, you tell 4 people, your partner, 1 parent, 2 friends. The telling is its own experience. The first reaction, the gasp, the genuine delight, the hug, is the version you imagined. The second and third reactions are more complicated. Not because the people love you less, because the number lands differently in different lives. One friend goes slightly quiet in a way you both pretend not to notice. One parent immediately asks what you are going to do with it, which is not the question you expected first, and which tells you something about their relationship with money that you had not previously seen this clearly. You will think about both of these reactions for longer than you expected to. The number is not yet real. It will not feel real until the first payslip arrives. Even then, it takes 2 or 3 cycles before the body accepts it as the new normal, rather than a temporary condition about to be corrected. The first rule, a salary increase is not a financial event. It is a psychological event with financial symptoms. The money is the least interesting thing that happens to you next. What the tax does. Here is what nobody explains clearly. You are earning $74,000. After federal and state tax, your take-home was approximately $4,400 a month. Now you earn $148,000. You do the mental calculation and arrive at something close to $8,800 a month. You are wrong. At $148,000, you move into a higher marginal bracket. Your effective tax rate climbs. Your take-home is closer to $7,600 a month. Not $8,800. The delta between what you imagined and what arrives is $1,200 a month. That is $14,400 a year. Enough to matter. Not enough to distress, but enough to explain the slight confusion on the first payslip when the number is smaller than the fantasy. This is before your benefits elections change. Before parking, before the 401k contribution, you now feel obligated to increase because you are earning this much and not maximizing feels indefensible. The actual monthly increment to your spending power is $2,800, which is real and meaningful. It is not the doubling you felt on Wednesday morning. The gap between the gross number and the net reality is where most of the fantasy lives. What lifestyle inflation does, and how quietly it does it. Month 1, you change nothing. This is intentional. You are being responsible. You are not the person who gets a raise and immediately upgrades everything. You are deliberate. Month 2, you move to a slightly better apartment. Not extravagant, just better. The reasoning is sound. You spend a significant portion of your waking hours in this space, and the upgrade costs $600 more a month, which is now well within reach. This is not lifestyle inflation. This is a considered quality of life improvement. Month 3, the car situation. The current one is fine, but it is also 4 years old and the lease is coming up, and the new number makes the slightly better option reasonable in a way it was not before. Another $340 a month. Still deliberate, still considered. Month 5, you eat differently. Not lavishly, But the mental calculation that used to run automatically at every restaurant, every grocery shop, every coffee window has gone quiet. The silence feels like freedom. It is also the place where the money goes without you tracking it. By month 8, you have not saved significantly more than you saved at $74,000. The infrastructure of your life has expanded to absorb the increment. This is not a failure of discipline. It is the most well-documented pattern in the economics of personal income, and it happens to almost everyone, regardless of intention. The second rule, lifestyle inflation, is not reckless spending. It is the natural pressurization of a life to fill the available volume. The only defense against it is deliberate structural decisions made in the first 30 days. After 30 days, the new baseline is already forming, and it becomes progressively harder to see. What happens to your identity? This is the part that surprises people most, more than the tax, more than the lifestyle creep, more than any of it. You have spent your adult life inside a certain economic bracket. You have friends calibrated to that bracket, social plans priced for it, a self-image built around it, a quiet pride in being careful, in being clever with a number that required cleverness. The new number removes the constraint that partly defined you. And the removal of a constraint is not always a relief. Sometimes it is disorienting. The person who is good at making $74,000 work is not automatically comfortable being the person with $148,000. The identity has not caught up to the income. You start making different decisions, where you suggest going for dinner, which hotel you book, how you respond when a friend proposes splitting something that is no longer a stretch for you, but clearly is for them. Each of these small decisions carries more weight than it should. You are navigating the gap between who you were and who the number implies you should be, and the navigation is quietly exhausting. Nobody prepares you for this. The financial press covers tax optimization and investment strategy. Nobody writes about the Tuesday evening when you suggest a restaurant and your closest friend says it is a bit expensive this month, and you say, "Of course, totally," and the two of you order from somewhere else, and something has shifted by exactly 1 degree, and you both feel it, and neither of you says anything. What happens to some of your friendships? Not all of them. Most of your friendships absorb the change without incident because the foundation is real, and real foundations hold under new conditions. But some friendships are more economic than you knew, built on shared constraints, on being in the same position, navigating the same pressures, commiserating over the same numbers. When your number changes, the shared position changes. You are still the same person. You are no longer in the same situation. These are different things, but friendships sometimes cannot hold both of them at once. The friend who went quiet when you told them. You will notice over the following months a slight recalibration, not hostility, not even resentment exactly. A distance of about 1 degree that was not there before. You will not raise it. They will not raise it. It will simply become the new temperature of that relationship. You will mourn this quietly. It is a real loss. It does not have a culturally legible name, which makes it harder to process. You do not get sympathy for it. You are the one whose salary doubled. The loss is invisible. What happens if you grew up without money? If you came from a household where money was scarce, where the arithmetic ran underneath everything, where certain things were simply not available? The doubling does something specific to you that it does not do to everyone. It makes you feel like you are getting away with something. A low-grade guilt that does not have a rational explanation, a sense that the number is provisional, that something will correct it, that you are not quite the person this number implies you are yet. You may find yourself unable to spend it freely even when spending would be rational. You may find yourself keeping the anxiety even after the cause of it has been removed, the way a body keeps a stress response long after the stressor is gone. You may find yourself telling nobody the number as if saying it aloud invites the correction. This is not a pathology. It is the rational residue of a history that money does not automatically erase. It takes longer than a payslip cycle to update your nervous system's understanding of what you are allowed to have. The third rule. The money arrives in the account immediately. The belief that you deserve it arrives on a different schedule entirely. For some people, that schedule takes years. For some, it never fully arrives. What happens after 1 year? You have been earning $148,000 for 12 months. Your savings rate is higher than it was, not doubled, but meaningfully higher. You have made two structural decisions in the first 30 days that held: an automatic investment transfer and a contributions increase. These are compounding. They will matter in ways that are not yet visible. You are more comfortable in the number than you were. The identity has caught up mostly. The friendships have settled into their new configurations. The guilt has not disappeared, but it has become quieter, more manageable. You are better at this than you were in month 1. That is what a year does, not wisdom, calibration, the slow adjustment of a person to a new set of conditions. Here is what has not changed. Wednesday morning still arrives. The work still requires what the work requires. The number is different. The hours are the same. The pressure is, if anything, higher, because the number comes with a set of expectations that $74,000 did not. You are now expensive. Being expensive means being visible. Being visible means being accountable in ways that the previous number did not impose. The salary doubled. The complexity of your professional life did not have to compensate. Close. Right now, there is someone in a building somewhere who just got off a call. They are sitting at their desk. The number is real. The feeling is not quite what they expected. They thought the money would feel like arrival, like the resolution of a long-running tension, like the moment the calculation that runs underneath everything finally stops. It does not stop. It changes shape. The money removes some of the pressure and adds different pressure and shifts the social terrain and unsettles the identity and delivers about 60% of what the fantasy promised. The 60% is real. Do not misread this. The 60% matters. It compounds. It builds options. It is worth having. But the 40% that the fantasy promised and the reality did not deliver, the uncomplicated joy, the frictionless upgrade, the complete resolution, that 40% lives permanently in the gap between the gross number and what actually happens next. You knew the number before Wednesday. Now you know what comes after it. That is the part they do not put in the offer letter.